Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Well, I am going to finish up this series with Meghan Markle and her life cycles. For those of you who are inquiring how to figure out your own cycle, I'm going to post a very basic starting point book down below. And it will be a link to Amazon. But there's also, if you are a Prime member with Amazon, you can read it for free on the Kindle Cloud. So I'll put that link down there as well. Um, if you decide not to purchase it through Amazon, if you do go and search, there's a lot of used bookstores that have a lot of copies. Please make sure you get the AMORC, AMORC version. There's some other versions out there that are not as correct, let's say. I was trying to be polite. So make sure you get the AMORC, AMORC. And on archive.org, there's also a copy up there. All right, so without further ado, let's get started on Meghan. I just finished up Harry's life cycle. I don't think any of us are surprised at all that Meghan is a Mars personality. Mars is the planet of war, and they're warriors, and they're very aggressive, and they appeal more to men. Mars people appeal more to men than to women, versus Venus appeals more to women than men. And she is she's even almost masculine looking. Like, you think about it, whenever she's in a group, she always has to push her way to the first. She always has to butt in, for lack of a better term. You know, Harry will go to shake somebody's hand. She just did it at Invictus. And then look also, because Mars rules the military, they're warriors, and look how she's taken over Invictus. Just look how she's done that. During her personal year, Mars is her November 7th to January 7th. That's her strongest time. And I want you to think back to when Mexit was. They officially left on January 8th. But it was all planned, all the trips to Canada, all the whispers, everything was during her Mars period. She knew she was in her strength at that time. And look how aggressive that was. You know, how hurtful it was. And who took charge of that. I just thought that was quite interesting. I was going to point out here the one of the things I noticed during the Queen's Jubilee right here is her Venus time. And she thought that was her time to shine and show that, you know, what clothes she could wear, how she could wear it. And, you know, props to her. That probably was one of her more better styling times, was during the Jubilee. I'm sorry, in the last one, my dog started acting up, and she is right now. I'm just going to quickly pause. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. We're doing quite a bit of traveling. I'm actually in the Netherlands today, and she just had that big surgery on Friday, and so she's having a bit of a rough evening tonight. I hope I can get her calmed down so we can continue our travels. All right. So anyways, I digress. Harry is a Mercury. We just did Harry. He's a Mercury. And then look at where the Mercury is right after her Mars. This is her grifting. This is her selling things. This is her, this is Spare, was written right here on the 10th of January. This is Catherine's birthday is here on the 9th. And again, I explained a lot about Mercury in the previous, so I'm not going to go too deep into that. With her Mars, being aggressive to Mercury. I think that's where a lot of the shadow comes out. It's really tough to be aggressive in scientific pursuits, being an aggressive reader, but it's easy being an aggressive writer. And I maintain that she wrote spare. And with it coming out here January 10th, during her Mercury time, I that kind of indicates to me that she really did have a big hand in it, because Mercury is the time for writing pursuits and books and whatnot. So there's somewhat of a clue there. Let's put it that way. Interesting. The Queen's birthday, April 21st, is right at the end of her Jupiter, and we could all we don't even have to argue that the royal family, the Queen, has expanded her world in ways that would have never happened without Queen Elizabeth allowing the marriage to go through. So there's that. Also, what else happened during her Jupiter time? The interview with Oprah. The interview with Oprah happened during her Jupiter time. What did that do? That expanded all the lies. That expanded the lies. Expanded her persona, right? Really showed who she was. So interesting that was done during then. But like I said, the Platinum Jubilee was during her Venus time, and that's when she came out with that white dress on. You have to give her, if you're going to, say something bad about what she's wearing, when she does kind of nail it, you have to give her credit for it. And it wasn't great, but it certainly wasn't one of the worst outings that she's worn. Let's see what else. Okay, so no, Archie is a son, and Archie was born during her Jupiter time. Well, no, he wasn't. He was born during her Venus time. Both kids were born during the Venus time, right? When's Archie's birthday? Archie's a son. Me. Yeah, no. Both kids are born during her Venus time. So when I say that she's going to come out and be a mom and this beautiful wife and this beautiful mother, and motherhood actually projects her as a nicer person, as a luxurious person. And it's interesting that last blind item was being a rich mom, was being a rich mom influencer, and that's exactly what the children will do for her, is raise her profile and make her look like. Let's just come out and say it. That's her money maker. Those children are her money maker. That's her luxury. Are those two children? And again, like I said, Venus, the duality of Venus, your Venus time is, yes, it can be a time of great accumulation, but it also can be a time of great sloth, of being sloppy, of being lazy, of overspending. That's a duality of Venus as well. But anyways, the children are definitely, during her Venus time there she's gonna get luxuries out of them. So she had to buy a great big ye old spaghetti factory there. She's got in I was gonna say Carolina. I wonder if they're moving in California, because they've got two children, so they needed 16 bathrooms, that kind of thing. So it's going to kind of elevate. Of course, we need a swimming pool because we have two babies, right? That kind of thing. So those two children are always going to evaluate or evaluate. Deep breath. Come on, line brain. Elevate her luxuries. Also, those two children will be the bane of her laziness and her slothness. So either, well, so for example, we all ask, where are the children? Where are your children? How come you don't travel with your children? Where are your children? Constantly asking, where are the children? And so that's the bane of her laziness. I found it interesting. Doris is a Mercury, as is Harry. And whenever you might want to go back and look at the different birthdays and see if there's any cross between parent and spouse. And because they say that we look for our parents in our partner. Lily being a moon. Um, uh, that's here in during her moon season, her moon time. Um, Moon and Mars really don't get along that well. Mars thinks Moon is, a sissy, crybaby kind of thing because they're so aggressive. That Lily's going to be Daddy's little girl. And there might be some resentment from there. And I don't have to tell you, there's been study after study of narcissistic mothers who hate their daughters. I think we're going to see this as time goes on. There's the potential for that. Absolutely. There's a potential for that with Mars and Moon, with Lily being Moon. She'll get along much, much better with Archie, because Sun and Mars really get along well together. They're both very masculine planets. Also, Archie is a Sun, and during her strongest time here, her first period of her first cycle is Sun here. She might be really proud to put Archie in, the best schools, for example. She'll be really proud to show Archie off. As much as Lily's going to be Daddy's little girl, Archie is going to be Mummy's little boy. She'll be really proud to get him into the best schools and that kind of thing, and put him on a pedestal. Sometimes Sun children can be put on pedestals. And interesting, who else is a Sun is George. So it's interesting that Harry and William both, their firstborn, and not only is a male but also is a Sun sign. So that's quite interesting. Doris is a Mercury. So again, what do I say about Mercury people? When they're good, they're very, very good, and when they're bad, they're horrid. That sums up Mercury people quite a bit. And I'm not saying all Mercury people are like that. Not at all. Not at all. A lot of, the big brains and the great writers and, our scientists and doctors. When you meet a really amazing doctor who is really on the ball and has a great personality, and you feel that you can trust this doctor, don't be surprised if you find out they're Mercury, or a good pundit, and you find out they're Mercury. But then when you find that scammer, don't be surprised when you find out that they're Mercury. I know I talk about this Mercury a lot, but for some reason it's showing up in this family a lot. I've never seen so much Mercury. But I've also never seen so many grifters either. So there's that. And look at this. Tom is a Mars. Tom is a Mars as well. And Tom was born during her, or was born, his birthday is during her moon time. So Tom might have been a little aggressive with her. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying in any inappropriate way whatsoever. She may have found him really aggressive, and for her little sensibilities that maybe when she was younger, she may have found him a little bit too aggressive. And that might have been just because he was working. And you have to remember, Mars people prefer men. and she was a daughter. And you look now at how close he is to Tom Jr. A lot of Mars people do name their children after them, the male children after themselves. Go look around your friends and family. You know, she was just like she was just the daughter, and yet she may have tried very hard because she's also a Mars to get daddy's attention. And that might be a big part of what's separating them now. They're both Mars people. They're both warriors. They both are extremely stubborn, and I don't see any end to it, to tell you the truth. Again, their marriage is a moon personality, and I've already talked about that with Harry's a lot, but they got married during her Venus time. During her Venus time. So she has a moon marriage, but she was married during her Venus time, and that wedding was all about her. What was Harry wearing? This 30 million pound wedding was all about her. All about Meghan. All eyes on Meghan. And who has a 30 million pound wedding? That's luxury. That's overspending. That's the a little bit of the negative side of Venus. That's over luxurious. That's over the top. That's over the top. Look at all the star power that was there. That's Venus. Because Venus is very social. So the star power that was there, that was during her, that wedding was during her Venus time. And look how over the top it was. Again, Mercury, Venus, Moon are dual. All right, Megxit, 8th of January. Like I said, right after her Mars, going into her Mercury. So she started the Megxit during her Mars time, very aggressive, wanting her way. You're not the boss of me. I want to merch Sussex Royal. I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I want to do this. And if you don't like it, I'm leaving. And then she left on terms that were false. That's the Mercury. That's the grifter. That's the grifter. You won't let me sell things, Sussex Royal. Well, I'm leaving, and I'm gonna go sell things anyways. See how that works? Endgame, spare. Of course, that's during her Mars. Endgame was during her Mars time when she's very aggressive. Finding Freedom, that's what that was. FF, 11th of August. That was during her Sun time. Sun is the spotlight's on you. That's when you want to appeal to authority. That's public relations. You want to get out there, and so there's Finding Freedom. That was a perfect time to launch that book, actually, for them. They wanted to appeal to other people. They weren't really selling anything. They were just public speaking what was going on in their truth. That's what they kept calling it, their truth. So during your Sun time, you don't really want to start anything. Like I always say with the Sun, would you plant a seed at the height of summer on the hottest day and just lay it on the soil? What would happen to that seed? Would it grow? Possibly, but would the sun burn it and shrivel it up? So always remember that when you want to start something during a Sun time. But the Sun is great for appealing to people about your plans that you want to do. If you need a permit from the city to build a shed or something, that's when I would appeal to go get that permit, but I wouldn't start the shed until the moon, and then you'd build that shed during the moon because you want that build to go really quickly and the project to be over quickly. So see how that works. What else about Meghan? When That's right. Queen Elizabeth dies. And guess what it's all about? Meghan. Meghan on the plane. Meghan going to do this? Is Meghan going to walk with the others? And she made sure the spotlight was on herself. There she is on the steps, looking like Zorro, one tear left eye. She had to do that ridiculous curtsy. To show the bottom of her shoes. Always holding Harry's hand. She couldn't even take a back seat to that. She had to be in the spotlight. It had to be about her, and that was for the Queen's funeral and the Queen's death, and even just the plane going up. It had to be about her. Like, who do you think leaked that story to the press? Would the press really have known that? Would the family really say, "Oh, yeah, they didn't make it because we were arguing about Meghan"? No, they wouldn't. Oops, Meghan had to make it about her. She had to absolutely make it about her. Charles' birthday here on November just is in her moon time. She might see him as weaker than her because she's Mars. So that's interesting. Her dad is a Mars in her moon time, and Harry's dad is a Jupiter, but also in her moon time. Both men are in her moon time, and she's basically cut them off. Like, she's cut her father off and basically cut Charles off as well, because she sees them as weaker because they're in her moon time. Just trying to look here. What else? Can you see anything? What am I missing? Let's see. So they got married during their Venus, and it was way over the top, overspent. Look at me, look at me. Dress was way too big. Let's see what else. I did notice they got engaged during her Mars time. So did she pressure that? Catherine her birthday's during her Mercury time, so she'll always lie about Catherine. Always. See, and if she was a positive person, then she would be very helpful to Catherine in regards to maybe helping her put a blog together, for example, or because she has experience with blogs and stuff like that. But when you have a negative Mars with a negative Mercury, that's your evil genius. That's your evil genius. Also Mercury with the Invictus. That's about it. That's all I can really want to talk about Meghan about, to tell you the truth. Kind of, like everyone else, I'm kind of bored of her. And I think just even doing something like this explains some of her little little twists and turns within the family. But yeah, to get married during to have a moon wedding, you can be looking at problems. All right. Well, I'm on, like I said, I'm traveling. I will be sailing the ocean blue here right away. This will probably be my last posting for a while. Do not fret. In 5 to 7 days, the next time you see me, I will be back at the tarot table. The clock will be wound up. We'll see old friends, tarot cards we haven't seen in a while, and everything will be back to normal. Thank you so much for being members, for likes, for subscribes, for comments. I appreciate each and every one of you. You are all precious to me. My cup truly does runneth over. Take good care. See you online. Bye for now.